Trinidad Carnival is not called the greatest show on earth for no reason. It is literally an experience that most people do not get to experience in their lifetime. It is 2 days of pure enjoyment and celebration of the culture, the music, the colors, and everything that encapsulates Trinidad and the carnival season. But before you get all caught up with the feathers, the glitz, and the glam of carnival, there is an important aspect that you should be aware of, and that is the mass bands. So in this episode, I am going to discuss everything you need to know about the mass bands, how to register, and what you need to know in order to choose the right one for your vibe, your style, and energy. First things first, what is a mass band? A mass band is a group that you register with to play mass on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. When you play mass, you are the masquerader. So the masquerader is playing mass on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. There are different types of bands available in Trinidad. Some of the bands include Lost Tribe, Spirit, Legacy, Ronnie and Cairo, Yuma. The list goes on and on. This is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the bands that you have access to register for so you can be a masquerader and play mass with on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. Each band offers something different. The premium bands have zooms with big feathers, jewels, glitz, colors, and lean on luxury and femininity. The traditional bands lean more on traditional characters and storytelling. Just because something is labeled as premium doesn't necessarily mean that you will have an enjoyable time, as opposed to another type of band. I just use that word to distinguish the amenities that they offer. Because you are going to Trinidad for Carnival, you want to register with a band. Registering with a band means you have access to all of the amenities that they have to offer. In addition to having a costume, you have access to premium drinks, snacks, food, music, the DJs that play with the band, as well as the artists who perform on Carnival Monday, Tuesday on the road with the band. You get a rest station, first aid station, security, and a cool down station. You don't want to go to Trinidad Carnival and be on the side watching all the revelers on Carnival Monday, Tuesday as they parade through the street. You're going to be really missing out on the essence of being in Trinidad for Carnival. So when you are planning to go to Trinidad Carnival, make sure you understand that you have to play mass and register for a band. Once you decide which band you want to play with, whether you want to play with a more traditional band or you want to play with a more premium band, you want to go onto their website and see when they will be launching their costumes. By August of the previous year, all the bands have launched their costumes for that carnival season. You can go online, look at the different costumes, and choose which costume you want to wear for Carnival Tuesday. Once you choose which costume you want to wear, fill out the form that the band has online. When you register, you're going to need some basic information in order for them to hold your costume. Some things include your name, which has to be government issued, because when you pick up your costume in Trinidad, you have to present an ID that matches the name on the registration. You also need to choose which size you want to wear. You choose the size that you will be comfortable wearing. In my experience, when I register for a band, sometimes the costumes run smaller than I would like. So I tend to choose one size bigger than what I would usually wear, so that I could feel comfortable in the costume. Once you put down your deposit and register, you are set until you have to make your final deposit. Some bands offering you the option of making a final deposit in person once you arrive in Trinidad. Others are requiring you to make that deposit far in advance so that they know that you are locked in and ready and they can continue the production process of your costume. So now that you know what is a mass band, what are the different types of bands that are available, how to register for the band, you want to decide which band to choose based off of your budget, your energy, and your vibe. So first, your budget. I have an entire video that I talk about how to curate a budget specifically for Trinidad, and I will link that in the description below. You want to choose a band that has costumes that are affordable for you. It makes no sense for you to choose a band that has costumes that are significantly out of your budget because you won't be able to pay for it. We are not in the business of spending money on a costume and then you cannot enjoy the rest of your carnival experience. Remember, some of these bands requiring you to pay the entire balance way in advance before you get to Trinidad. If you don't have the money at the time of registering, you probably should not play mass with that band. There are a lot of options that can fit your budget, and I highly suggest that you find a band that has costumes that you are comfortable paying and you can easily pay. Playing mass is only part of your Trinidad Carnival experience. You will need funds for other aspects of your trip. So make sure that you are choosing a band that has costumes that are affordable for you. Once you identify the bands that have a budget that you are comfortable with, then you have to choose the band size. There are some bands that have thousands and thousands of masqueraders in it, and you are going to be surrounded by a lot of people. These are the bands that have the upwards of 10 sections within the band. And within each section, you can easily have 1,000 masqueraders. If you love being around that many people wearing the same costume, you can imagine yourself living it up in that scene, you want to choose a larger band size. But if that is not something you feel comfortable with, and you will feel more comfortable with a limited amount of masqueraders where you can move around and there's space, then you want to lean towards a smaller band size. While all the bands are vibes, there are some bands that turn up at 100 straight Carnival Monday and Tuesday. And then there are bands where they are not as turned up because they're not playing power soca on repeat from sunup to sundown. They enjoy some of the more traditional music, have a slower pace, and you can preserve your energy throughout your entire experience on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. Trinidad Carnival is an experience that you will never forget, but choosing the right band is important for having an epic experience. Do your research, know your budget, and choose a band that fits your vibe and your style. If you are trying to curate the perfect budget for Trinidad Carnival, I have a video linked below in the description. Don't forget to subscribe for more Carnival tips, and let me know in the comments which band you are going to play mass with for Trinidad Carnival next year. Until next time, bye.